for perfect. So we'll send out a copy of this session afterwards that you can review later on as well. Okay. So let me just begin. Okay, we're all set. So thanks very much for joining us. This is our presentation to really talk about finding a fit and to give an overview of the student-athlete application process. So let's go into an overview of what to expect. So we'll begin by looking at what coaches want, and we'll look at how college coaches tend to evaluate student-athletes. From there, we'll talk about academics and the importance of an academic fit through the college recruitment process. After that, we'll discuss athletics and talk about the athletic goals that you should be attempting to reach as a student athlete. And then finally, we're joined by our partners at SmartTrack, who will talk about the financial fit of college applications as well. And for a quick speaker introduction, my name is Alid, and I'm a senior consultant at WorldStars Education. I'm also joined by Faith LaRoche, who's the founder and CEO of WorldStars Education, and Cindy Menegas, who's the National Program Director from SmartTrack College Funding. So we're all really, really happy to be meeting you today, and let's get going. So the organizing idea around all of what we're really talking about today is the notion of planning and the importance of planning through the process of your college applications. Oftentimes we realize that students don't necessarily put as much planning, in the years, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade that they would need to in order to really, really maximize their potential for college applications. And this is really borne out by data that we see from the NACAC, the National Association for College Admissions Counseling, where students that plan earlier always do tend to do better in their college applications. So failing to plan is planning to fail, and that's Benjamin Franklin there. So let's talk really quickly about what coaches are looking for in a student athlete. As a college coach, you're essentially looking for 3 aspects of fit for your student athletes. You're looking for the academic fit. So every student athlete will actually need to also meet the academic requirements for their chosen school. We'll talk a little bit more about this in a moment. The next aspect of fit that a college coach is looking for is obviously the athletic fit. They want to make sure that the student is actually able to contribute meaningfully to the team's athletic goals as well. And then finally, there's the character fit. And the character fit tends to be a little bit more difficult to define. But there are some guiding principles that you can go by for finding a character fit for a team as a coach. So we'll talk more about these individually now. So the academic fit. Firstly, there's this myth here that if I'm a good enough student athlete, my academics don't matter. Whereas in reality, the GPA, academic rigor, standardized test scores, they're all massively important to college coaches. And the myth that they don't matter is actually so far from being untrue. It's actually, they might be one of the most important parts of being recruited. So let's look at some more details for what makes you NCAA eligible, and then talk a little bit more about sort of the coach's side of it and how a coach will help vouch for you through the academics. So the NCAA minimum requirements are the academic standards that every student athlete will need to meet in order to play in the NCAA Division II or over. So these are the requirements that we have for Division II. The Division I requirements are slightly higher. They just have 2 extra course requirements. But these are the minimum ones for Division II, so we'll speak about these. So you need 3 years of an English course in your school, 2 years of a math course, Algebra 1 or higher, 2 years of natural or physical science, including 1 year of lab science if your high school offers it, 3 additional years of English, math, or natural sciences, or physical sciences, 2 years of social science, and 4 additional years of your combination of the following: English, math, natural or physical science, social science, foreign language, comparative religion, or philosophy. And the GPA here is a really big point, because many of you will notice at this point that the 2.2 GPA is actually not necessarily a high requirement. This is, just to remind everyone, the minimum. In reality, we should all actually be aiming for at least a 3.3 for competitive programs. As a rule of thumb, you want to be aiming for the GPA that would regularly be required for your chosen school. So in order to guarantee admission into a strong program, you really do need to go beyond the requirements. It's important to remember that any coach that advocates for you or for your students will need to convince an admissions committee that you're actually ready for the academic responsibilities of being at their school. So when a coach vouches for a student athlete, they're really putting their own reputation on the line as well, and they really need to trust that the student themselves will be able to contribute to the school's academic environment in a meaningful way. So the coach is actually accountable, and therefore they really want to ensure that any student athlete they bring into the program is able to work at that level. So what do colleges want academically? Essentially, they want three things. They want proven skills and rigorous courses. They want the ability to perform on standardized tests. And they also want some evidence of advanced academic skills, such as critical thinking, resourcefulness, and responsibility. Let's look really quickly at the factors of influencing admission as published by the NACAC. So again, that's the National Association for College Admissions Counseling. And we'll see here that these three qualities are actually reflected. So what is most important here, let's kind of group them into threes. So the first third here, grades in all courses. So you can roughly see that as your GPA. Grades in college prep courses. So this is really just advanced courses that you might be able to take. And then the strength of curriculum. And the strength of curriculum here really refers to what we call rigorous courses. I mentioned it here as well. And a rigorous course is essentially just a course that colleges generally tend to agree is relatively difficult. So an example here would be, I don't know, like AP Physics is almost universally regarded as a rigorous course. After that, we've got admission scores, essay writing, and demonstrated interest counselors' recommendations. So after these three course-centered factors, then we get to standardized tests, and then we get to additional skills like critical thinking, resourcefulness, responsibility. And again, we'll send out a recording of this so you can review this chart at your own leisure as well. So what does that mean for you? So for a student athlete, what we really want to be doing is, there's 9 points here. I apologize, that's quite a few points, but we'll go through them individually really quickly. So you want to plan your academic courses to cover NCAA eligibility. You want to enroll in courses which demonstrate academic rigor. You want to explore potential majors and careers so that your high school coursework has a direction that colleges are aware of. You want to explore, you want to identify additional educational programs to support your academic interests. Build core academic proficiencies, maintain a strong GPA, foster close relationships with your recommenders. In this case, it might be your coaches. And then finally, you'd like to review common set data for college admissions and develop a personalized school list. And here's some helpful resources to get you started. Again, don't worry about taking notes about this at the moment. We'll send this out in a follow-up email with some helpful links that can get you started. And before I close up my section here, I'd like to talk a little bit about character, because we mentioned character earlier on as being one of the qualities that coaches tend to look for, but it's very difficult to really understand precisely what that means. It's really important to remember that all coaches at the college level, but really at any level, are seeking to build teams. They really want to create a core collection of players that work really well together as a team and improve each other. So what are they looking for in a team? They're looking for integrity, work ethic, positivity, humility. And these, I think one thing to remember is that these are all skills that, well, they are skills that you can develop over time, and they're perspectives that you can develop over time. So for your student athletes, it can be really valuable to really emphasize the importance of A, being, embodying these qualities, and B, being able to reflect on times in your life when you've exhibited these qualities, because they really do matter to coaches who don't necessarily just want star players. They want people who are very, very capable athletes, but also able to contribute to their team environments in a deeper way through, having a lot of integrity, having a stronger work ethic, being positive and being humble. I mean, these are all areas where you can actually build up your teammates around you so that one additional player actually makes the entire rest of the team stronger. And that wraps it up for my portion. And I'm going to turn it over to Faith now to talk about the athletic fit.
All right. Hi, everyone. I believe we already met at the checking station and scoring table. I've been working for the tournaments. My name is Faith LaRoche. I'm a UCLA College Counseling Program Certified Counselor, and I'm a member at the IECA Independent Education Consultant Association. I have been working with the students for their education planning, their boarding school application, and college application for more than 17 years. And this is our great pleasure to meet you all here. So next, let's talk about the athletic fit. So all the kids that I met today, I can see that the kids love golf. They love to play golf, and they wish to play golf in the colleges. However, I think students probably need to know what a golf student's athlete life looked like in the college. Imagine if this is really your expectation for your college life. So I want to kind of share what's the college students' life look like as golf players in the school. So what does college life look like for a student athlete? Let's look at their daily schedule. So it's very intense. You need to plan to get up early in the morning, because in the morning you will attend, team will have some fitness practice. They'll have a morning routines, and then later on probably have a quick breakfast, prepare your courses. And in the morning, you are still college students. So daily, you probably have a 2 or 3 daily courses that you need to participate. And in the afternoon, you will have another golf practice in the afternoon with your team, talk to your coach, and plan for the tournaments as well. And at the nighttime, don't forget, you have your homework, your assignment. You probably also have your exams you need to prepare. So you can see this is a very intense schedule and very structured schedule. Unlike the normal college students, they are thinking about fun and parties, and have a lot of a weekend fun life. And as a student athlete, you probably don't really have those kind of opportunity like other students. And we can also look into what's your golf season look like. And for the golf, the typical season, golf, this sport, it's the year long. So you pretty much is play golf all the time. So even during the beginning of the fall semester, you will still have the tournaments go. And then the busiest part will be spring. You will have a 5 or 6 tournaments at least. And then you gotta travel to the different cities, and a lot of traveling, a lot of so you can see during this kind of a typical seasons and their daily schedule combined together, the students need to have a very good time management skill, and which is I would suggest the parents and students are really starting to build up this skill now. Need to be very structured, good discipline, and although you are playing the tournaments, you still need to finish your homework, your assignment. You probably have an exam. You probably need to talk to your professors, either have the exam earlier or on time. These things all need to plan together. So before you decide to start you want to play golf in the colleges, I really want the parents be able to talk to students. This will be your college life, and would you still picture yourself like that? So a couple of things just remember: a very, very demanding, schedules, no normal social lives, and still have a lot of homework to do, need to get everything done. And mainly you are in the colleges, it's a kind of a building community with your coaches and friends. So make sure you like your coaches and friends, because you will spend a lot of time with them. So those things are talk to your kids, like unlike the normal college kids, this will be your life in college. Would they still want to pursue as a student athlete? If they say, yeah, I have a passion in golf, let's do it. All right, then we'll have a more realistic goal to set up, which is what is your golf performance you need to set up a goal and prepare for if you want to pursue in different division. So I want to kind of give the quickly view about for the men's golf. Let's look at the men's golf, what our coaches are looking for. So for the tier 1 high division, high NCAA division 1, I think you really need to consistently, or most of the time, can shoot under par. If a low, but for tier 2, I would say it would be a low NCAA division 1, that would be kind of a lower than 74. And then one thing that I want to talk about is the tournament experience. For the tier 1, the students should plan or set up a goal to kind of finish at the state level. And very strong performance in AJGA, USGA, and of course, World Stars as well, right? Play well on that. And you need to have a very intensive full summer golf schedule with a multiple day, not one single day. So it needs to be 2 days or 3 days or even more. All right. And for the tier 3 is like division 2. And sometimes, usually division 2 or 3, they don't offer the scholarship. Division 2 probably have a partial on that. So let's talk about division 2. You were thinking about maybe consistently have your performance at least in the 74 to 76. And for the division 3, you can have a little bit higher score on that. And let's talk about women. Women's golf, probably next slide. Thank you. So for the women's, might be a slightly easier, to get the score, to find the golf team to play. And for the tier 1, is like, lower, under 75. Of course, the lower the better, right? So the tier 2 will be, high 70s, and the tier 3 will be, low 80s, and then tier 4. I feel like I'm exaggerated, but it's just because we do have an experience that students the woman shooting 80s still be able to get into the division 3 school. But here I want to emphasize one thing. It's for the division 2 and division 3, they even focus on your academic ability in going to their school. So although you are a great golfer, but if your academic abilities or did not meet their standard, which is they are not only looking for the minimum standard, they are looking for the average academic standard. What kind of GPA courses you are taking, they actually have a higher requirement for division 2 and division 3 students. So for the kids, no matter it's men's or golf, if your score is kind of a division 2 and division 3 and still want to play, just remember academically actually way more important at this point. So making sure the kids understand that realistically, if right now you are sophomore or even junior, the score is around division 2 and 3, really making sure academic also be strong, strong. That's also important because that will help you to really get in the school like you like. All right. So what will be the, here's a note. I want to talk about the handicaps. So right now, college coaches, honestly, not really looking into the handicaps. So when you share your resumes or you communicate with coaches, they actually will more like to see you focus on your golf scores and then what tournament you play. They want to see is the more like competitive tournaments and 2 days, multiple days tournaments, and the consistently golf scores. So that's important for that. So let's look at what you should really consider about your plan now. So first of all, still looking for some more intensive and rigorous golf training program. I know a lot of parents probably will train with the kids. That's good, but try to have a more routine schedule, include building in fitness. Mental training, that's also important as well, and have more, talk to the coaches with the more, kind of a right fit, a customized training program, golf training program for the kids, and the kids will be able to kind of consistently to doing those practice. The second I want to talk about will be plan your golf tournament schedules, especially during the summer. I would say that definitely looking for competitive multiple tournaments, but don't kind of fly everywhere. Like this week is this day, next week will be the East Coast, and the following week go to a national thing, because travel definitely costs the kids. It's tiring, and that might affect their performance as well. So for the strategy of the tournament arrangement, please also consider kids don't burn out, and then sometimes in their local or nearby tournaments that they are familiar with courses might be good as well. And also when you play tournaments, when it's time, you can communicate with the coaches, tell the coaches which tournaments you are planning to play, and then build out that kind of connection. And then the number 3, I say that it's a time to establish the realistic college level, what's your performance. So after this meeting, we will send out what's the division 1, 2, 3, the teams, what's their scores are looking for in the different colleges. So you can kind of starting to talk with your kids. Like right now, our goal can step out with which colleges, and their golf score is fitting. It's what the college coaches are looking for. So can starting to build up the college list through that current performance. But of course, continue to set up a goal for the kids. That's something you can look into it. And then you definitely can start to create your athletic professional resume and your videos as well. For the videos, I always encourage the students, no, you don't need to do anything too fancy. College coaches, even just with the phone, video is fine. College coaches love to see the authentic good shots instead of like a lot of editing and make it pretty. And you probably save a lot of money to create those kind of video. Authentic is the best. And then again, when it's time, you can contact coaches. You just constantly to share coaches your scores, what's your accomplishments, and build up good relationship with coaches. That will be some kind of plan. Like you can sit down with the kids and start to plan on that. I know that there's a lot of details that probably each families will be different. So when we have a opportunity for our initial meeting, I would love to discuss with everyone what will be the best athletic plan for each family, each student. All right.
Great, and that brings us to financial planning. So at this point, we'll just switch out to our colleague here, Cindy, who will talk about financial planning Smart Track. So
great. There we go. How's that? You can see that all right. Hi, folks. Welcome, and thank you for your attention so far, and Faith and for Aled for your presentations. It's so much great information. So my name again is Cindy Menegas. I'm the National Program Director at Smart Track College Funding, and we are really pleased to be working with WorldStars Education on helping you develop your overall college planning, but specifically when it comes to having to pay for college. We've been at this for over 20 years. We've worked with over 250,000 families, helping them to develop strategies to better pay for college. And so we're delighted to be working with Faith and Aled and those at WorldStars. So one thing we've learned over our many years in this space is that families all have the same basic concerns, regardless of your financial profile. Folks want to know, how do we pay for college? How do we use our income, our assets, what we bring to the table to cover the considerable costs of educating our kids? How do we reduce those costs? How do we shave tens of thousands of dollars off the cost of a college education? And how do we manage to balance educating our kids with being able to retire one day? And if you're concerned about these issues, you're in the right place. It's expensive to send your kid to college, no matter where they go. If you're looking at in-state public institutions, they range from about $20,000 on the low end to as much as $40,000, depending on where you live. If you're looking at an out-of-state public university, they're ranging from $40,000 to $70,000. And private schools typically they start in about the mid-50s, and some are now exceeding $80,000 per student per year. So you have to figure that an undergraduate college degree is going to run you $80,000, $100,000 more likely on the low end to as much as $320,000 or more. And that's assuming your child completes their degree in 4 years. Um, Clearly, it's expensive. And for a lot of families, where their child ends up attending can be determined in part by how much things cost. What you may not know is that for middle and upper middle income families in particular, they will overpay for college by an average of $22,000 per student per year. That's a lot, no matter who you are. And the reasons are several. For one, a lot of these families assume that, oh, well, the financial aid system is for low income families. And if that doesn't apply to us, then we won't engage. And that's an issue. Another is that even if they do go ahead and submit a financial aid application when their kids are applying to college senior year, if they do it without organizing their finances in advance, um, positioning themselves as favorably as possible, if they don't do that, it would be comparable to submitting your tax return before taking every legitimate, fair, legal deduction that you had coming to you, you would pay more in your taxes, right? The same is true here. You have to organize your financials before you submit financial aid applications. Some families will look at the retail price of a university and tell their child, yeah, forget it, it's too expensive, you're not applying there. And what happens there is that you can bypass schools that might be really great fits and might have generous endowments and make it more affordable for you. So you want to keep generous schools on your list. If you're working with Faith on developing a college list, I'm not so worried about you here because she's going to help you balance that and find those generous schools. Even if you're doing everything else right, if you make errors when it comes time to submit your applications, and by that I mean including information that doesn't belong or putting things in the wrong place, that can be a reason for the colleges and the government to deny you aid you might otherwise be eligible for. And lastly, and this one may not be as obvious, but how you pay for college will absolutely impact how much you pay for college. So even if you don't get any kind of need or merit-based or athletic scholarship kind of aid, and you were to pay full price, you could end up saving yourselves tens of thousands of dollars just by virtue of how you use your resources to better pay for college. Now, I mentioned middle and upper middle income families in particular. These are folks that are particularly squeezed in these calculations. And it's a much bigger range than you might imagine. We're talking about folks that, may not expect to see a lot of need-based financial aid, but at the same time, they're not prepared to fully fund the full retail price of a college education either. That's a lot of cash flow. So we're talking folks with incomes anywhere from $80,000 to $350,000, with equity in a home from a couple $100,000 to as much as $3 million. With some retirement assets, with some non-retirement assets. So if you fall into one or more of these categories, you may be poised to overpay, and you'll want to really look at your financial situation and make sure that you position yourself accordingly so that you get the most out of the system. If you're a lower income family, ideally, if you're looking at generous schools and doing your aid applications correctly, you should maximize your aid eligibility just by virtue of your situation. If you're a very affluent family, if you're making W-2 income of more than $400,000, $500,000 a year, if you have non-retirement assets of, $1 million, $1.5 million, chances are you're going to have to pretty much pay. There's not a lot of money in the system at that point. They're going to look at you and see that you're pretty ready and willing and able to pay. But if you're squeezed in the middle, it's super important for you to be looking at this stuff. Now, I wanted to address the elephant in the room, which is athletic scholarships. I think that for a lot of families with student athletes, they hope that, hey, my kid's a great athlete, they're going to get a big college scholarship, and that's going to, take care of how we can pay for college. The sad truth is, and I'm sorry to be sober about this, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I want you to manage your expectations. And that is that only 1% to 2% of undergraduate students receive athletic scholarships of any kind. The idea of, hey, my kid's going to get a full ride, unfortunately, that really only happens for the big money sports, football, basketball, those sports where that college is earning a ton of TV revenue. Maybe the quarterback or the point guard might get that kind of monies, but you can't have that expectation for where you are. 56% of D1 athletes, 60% at D2 schools, and 0% at D3 schools get of those kids get athletic scholarships. That's because at D3 schools they don't allow any athletic scholarship. Um, and the average amount, at least at a D1 school, is $18,000. That's average, but you got to remember that's skewed by those big money sports, football and basketball. So there's a lot less left over for all of the other equivalency sports, get split among all of the other programs. So just manage your expectations. If you get some financial aid through athletic scholarships, consider it gravy. That's fantastic. But as a strategy for how you're really going to consistently cover your college costs, better not to count on it. Now, when we start talking about how you're going to pay for college, we look at two things. We're looking at EFC stands for expected family contribution. That's the minimum amount that the schools and the government believe you can afford to pay for college. And for middle and upper middle income families, that amount is often very inflated. We're looking for red flags that we can maneuver to bring those expectations down. You want to show the schools that, they may think you can afford a lot, and you want to show them what the reality is. No, you can't necessarily afford a lot. So we're looking at those calculations. We're also looking at what are your best funding strategies? What is going to be the best, most efficient, cost-effective, tax-advantaged ways for you to pay for college? So we're going to be looking at income, how it's derived, how much is there, same with assets, how are they structured, how much is there, what your tax strategies and structure look like if you're carrying debt. We talked about EFCs, what those calculations are. If you have equity in your home or rental properties or a vacation home, if you own a business or are self-employed, you want to consider your opportunity costs, weigh your options, find cash flow to make paying for college more affordable for you during the years your kids are in school. Maybe there are grandparents or other third parties looking to help you pay for college. If you are looking to borrow money to fill your gap, what kind of strategies might you employ there to diminish how much you have to pay? And always, under every circumstance, we want to help protect retirement. That's really important. Um, Now, just to summarize, I'm trying to get through a lot of information in 10 minutes. I do a full 1 hour presentation that Faith can send you a link to, and you can watch at your leisure to get more into the details of this topic. But really to help you plan to better pay for college, it's going to allow you to maximize not only your need-based aid, but your merit-based aid as well. Merit-based aid is monies that you can attract that are not based on your finances. So that's really great. It's free money. And you want to leverage what you have so that you don't have to borrow so much money. Every family is going to have a unique situation, obviously, so every family will need to determine what their best strategies are and understand what your options are so that you can make decisions that are right for your family. Now, when do you want to be doing this? When do you want to be planning? Just as your student is busy working on becoming the best applicant and the best athlete that they can be while they're in high school, 9th, 10th, 11th grade, right? So do parents have to begin planning for how they're going to pay for this as early as possible. The financial decisions that you make while your kids are still in 9th, 10th, 11th grade will absolutely impact how much financial aid you receive and how much you will ultimately pay for college. So you don't want to wait until your kid's a rising senior and they're applying to college before you figure, gee, how am I going to cover these costs? Think about it as early as possible. Now, if you have any of these concerns or questions, it means that it's really important for you to be thinking about your college funding strategy as part of your overall college planning. And those are, well, hey, we're concerned we make too much money to get financial aid, but we really can't afford to pay full price either. Maybe we haven't saved enough for all our kids. We're not really sure how we're going to cover those costs, what resources we'll use. Um, I really want to be able to maximize the amount of grants and scholarships and financial aid that we can be eligible for and receive. We want to make sure that we're looking at generous schools that are a good fit for our kids. If you want to take advantage of available tax strategies, there are a lot of tax strategies that can help in this whole process. If you're concerned about your retirement, You don't want to become dependent or your student dependent on loans, or maybe you just don't want to pay more than you have to. These are all really valid reasons to be concerned and to start thinking about your college funding plans. If I highly recommend you take an opportunity to talk with Faith and Aled about the program that they offer, because it's really comprehensive. Smart Track is just one piece of that overall plan, but it's important for you, incumbent upon you as parents, to do your homework. You need to plan for the financial piece so that when your kids get accepted to their choice program, you're in the best position possible to cover the costs. And that concludes my section.
Thank you so much, Cindy.
Thank you,
Yeah, and
Cindy.
we're absolutely thrilled to be partnering with Cindy and with Smart Track. So thank you so much for your presentation. Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to turn back to the original PowerPoint really quickly.
Yeah,
But just a
and
quick
here I
note.
want to, yeah, here I want to share with the all the parents as well. In the past years, we developed a good college list with the students, and then students go to visit the school. They see the program, they really like the program, but end up because of the financial affordabilities make the kids cannot go to their dream school. That's really upset for the kids as well. So that's why I think if we can start early, educate yourself by when we talk about the college fits, it's really need to including the next slide, please. So when we think about the college fits, the list need to be the academic fit, making sure not only because student athlete actually student first. So when we talk about the students, that part, you need to have the ability to doing the college work. So that's called college readiness. So we need to evaluate if our kids be college ready. Would they be able to doing the college research? Would they be able to writing the college paper? Would they to able to, through choosing the different college courses and to find their own passion in their future major? These things, it's important. We're starting to plan kids during the high school. The second thing is about the athletic fit. It's realistically, our kids love golf, continue play hard, but we all know that sometimes when the time comes to the recruitment season, and then if the performance, the score performance is during the certain different range of the scores, we might starting to build up the college list based on the students, what their true performance there. There are great colleges out there, with the right fit, school performance. So I see a lot of parents and the students continue to waiting, they are thinking about, let me develop the college list when I play good golf. And during the time, time passed and the recruitment season probably already passed. And then, so I really suggest that this college list for the right golf program need to start early. Just be realistic. And then kids will love the classes when they have the opportunity to talk to the college coaches with their, kind of range level. And then one of the most important pieces will be the financial fit, which is financial affordability. If we can start to plan earlier, not only students will probably have a possible some students, the scholarship from the athletic scholarship. We can also plan for the academic scholarship, some financial aid, right? All the things can put together. So when the students got accepted by their dream school, they don't need to give up the opportunity just because of the not good financial affordability plan. All right. So next, I want to talk about that how we can support you as a WorldStar Education. So the things we can support all the families here, it's I think mainly a lot of recruiting counselor. They can also help you as we can help you as well, which is help you to find the right right college golf program to help you through those recruitment process. But the most important, some of our expertise is one, we help the student student to do the academic planning, we will have the career and interest assessment, making sure students are choosing the right majors in colleges. And when they are choosing their high school courses, those courses can support as a supporting evidence for why they choose a certain majors to make their academic profile stand out. And then we helping to do the college application as well. So we help the student develop a college list. Actually, we help the students to develop two types of college list. One is the golf program list, what is the right fit for their golf performance. But we also help the students to develop the academic fit college list. So when we're doing the application, we can have a two routes together. One is apply for the the golf team, but at the same time, we also to apply for the academic focus school as well. So when the school, when the students got being accepted, then he can have some the options from the acceptance from the colleges. And also for the financial planning, we just partner with the Smart Track, and then you will have the portal. Parents will be able to put your financial numbers, your tax number, what is your financial status, put in numbers, and will pop out with how much you need to pay for the colleges if you did not get the athletic scholarship. And then we will help you to kind of plan the best strategy to, planning your financial things. And then hopefully, when it's time to pay for the college, you will be saving enough and get ready to have the students to go to their dream colleges. So this is what WorldStar Education can help. All right. So I know we try to be talk so much in such a short time because we know you still have a one-day tournament, so we don't want to occupy too much of your time. But we definitely prepare a lot of resources for you. So after this meeting, I think my colleague Ellen will send you the emails with all the resources that we offer today. And also, please feel free to scan the QR code if you feel like you have more individual questions that need to communicate with us. Feel free to scan the QR code to get the free consultation, and we will love to be able to work with your family in the near future. Okay, Alec.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. If you came in midway through the meeting, don't worry at all. We've got a recording that we'll send out to everyone who has signed up as well. But aside from that, thanks so much, and feel free to email us or book a meeting if you have any questions, and we'd be really happy to chat with you. So thank you again.
Thanks, everyone. Be well.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, you guys. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure to work with you on this.
Thank you, Cindy.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Good night. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.